Unit 7, Lessons 4, 5, and 6. Robinson Crusoe.
Page number 8, the reading text. Question number 1. Read about Robinson Crusoe. What did Crusoe want to find? As you can see in the picture, this is Robinson Crusoe. He was a sailor and he was lost in the sea because his ship sank. He tried hard to swim till he reached to an isolated island. There was no people, and when he became okay, he wrote a diary of what happened to him. In front of you we have 3 days from his diary: 18th of December, 19th of December, and 20th of December. Let's read it together to discover what was he searching for. Let's start. Robinson Crusoe is an adventure story by Daniel Defoe. Robinson Crusoe was a sailor. One day his ship sank because there was a really terrible storm. Crusoe swam to a nearby island, but there were no other people there. Crusoe wrote a diary of what happened to him on the island. 18th of December. I arrived on the island 4 days ago. Today I walked along the beach again, but I saw nobody and I think I am alone. This afternoon I found a dead fish and ate it, but it wasn't nice. Although I am hungry, I don't want to eat another dead fish. 19th of December, I found a coconut on the beach today. It was delicious. It rained last night and I was cold and wet. So today I went to look for a cave. I want a warm place to sleep. I walked through a jungle and there were some rocks, but no caves. 20th of December, I found a cave. So let's return back to our question. What did Crusoe want to find? Right. He wanted to find a warm place to sleep in.
Sink. Go down below the surface of something, especially of a liquid. 1. A hole in the bottom of the boat caused it to fill with water and sank down to the bottom of the lake. 2. The wheels started to sink into the mud. 3. Wood doesn't sink in water, it floats. Terrible, extremely bad or serious. 1. The weather was terrible. 2. We have just received some terrible news. 3. This project is a terrible waste of money. Nearby, not far away. If there is a cafe nearby, we could stop for a snack. 2. I noticed a policeman standing nearby. 3. We stopped at some nearby shops to buy some food. Alone, without other people. He likes being alone in the house. She decided to climb the mountain alone. Do you like living alone? Jungle. This is a tropical forest in which trees and plants grow very closely together. 1. The Yanomami people live in the South American jungle. Tigers are found in the jungle of Asia. They were exploring the Amazon jungle. Cave. This is a large hole in the side of a hill, cliff, or mountain, or one that is underground. Number 1. They were trapped in the cave for 19 hours. 2. The echoes of his scream sounded in the cave for several seconds. Number 3. There is water in the interior of the cave.
Question number 2. Read the story again and answer the questions. Number 1. What kind of story is Robinson Crusoe? Robinson Crusoe is an adventure story. Number 2. What date did Crusoe arrive on the island? He arrived on 14th of December. Number 3. What 2 types of food did he eat and which one did he prefer? So the answer, he ate a dead fish and a coconut, and he preferred the coconut. Number 4. Why do you think he wanted to find a cave? Because it rained last night and he got cold and wet. Speaking. Work in pairs and discuss. Number 1. Crusoe is alone in the island. What can he do and what can't he do? As you can see in front of you, the 2 boys are talking together, one giving us things that he can do, like what he can walk in the beach. It was available to him. And the other one telling us about things that he couldn't do. He can't sleep on a bed, for sure, because it was an isolated island. We need more things. For example, he can do what? Right? He can eat fresh fruits. He can write his diary. He can watch the nature. He can swim every day. And what about can't? He can't watch TV. He can't drive a car. He can't talk to other people. And so on. Take care that we are using the infinitive after can and can't. Let's move to number 2. Crusoe found food in a cave. What other things do you think you need to live on an isolated island without any people? Okay, put yourself in his shoes. If you were in his place, what things would you need to complete your life on such isolated island? For example, a knife to cut fruits or to protect yourself from dangerous animals. What else? Yes, right. You for sure will need more clothes to change or wear. And what else? Right? I think that you will search for any animal, whether to eat it or to keep it as a pet animal. Okay, let's move to question number 3. Why do you think Crusoe wrote a diary, and was it useful? Here he's telling you, if you think about a lost person on an isolated island, and he wrote his diary, what's the use of it? Sure, I think that he thought whether he could return back or be saved, so it could be a good record to remind him of everything he passed by. Or, on the other hand, if he couldn't return back, people would remember him and his story from his diary. So I think it will be a good idea. Writing. What do you think happened to Crusoe next? Complete the diary entry. In the reading text, we read together an example of a diary written by Robinson Crusoe himself. He wrote about the most important events he passed by in 3 days. We will start from the last event that he found a cave, and we will complete the actions. Imagine what might happen to him later. Take care that the tense should be in the past and take care of the punctuation marks. Now start, write about 3 or 4 lines about 21st of December, starting by the word today, I. Speaking. We have many questions here. We will try to answer them aloud to improve our spoken language. Number 1. What kind of a person was Robinson Crusoe? Robinson Crusoe was a brave person because he lived on the island alone. Number 2. What was the island like? There were no people on the island. There was a jungle and some rocks, but not much for Crusoe to eat, and the weather was very cold at night. Number 3. What other things do you remember about the story? Tell your partner. This is your turn to speak out and tell us what you can remember about the most important events in the story. Number 4. What happened to Crusoe that was terrible? And what happened to him that was great? The storm was terrible for sure, and the dead fish was terrible too, but the coconut was great. Did you like the story? Tell us why yes or why not. Okay, this is your turn too to express your own ideas in very simple sentences and never to be afraid.
Student's Book, Unit 7, Lesson 5, Exercise 2. Listen to 3 people talk about their weekend. Match the person to the photos. 1.
Hi, Lena. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was terrible.
Oh dear. What happened?
I watched a football match at the stadium. It was terrible because my team lost 5-2. Then I took a selfie, but I dropped my mobile phone and it broke.
2.
Hi, Hisham. How was your weekend?
It was great, because I went to the bowling alley with my cousins. Then we went to a pizza restaurant. I had a pizza with olives and pepper. The pizza was really good, although it was expensive.
3.
Hi, Judy. How was your weekend?
It was okay on Saturday, although I had lots of homework. But I went to the theatre in the evening.
Okay, here we will answer some exercises. Number 7, correct the underlined words. As we agreed before that we have to take care of the tense. If the question in the present, the answer should be in the present. In the past should be in the past. If I'm using a certain auxiliary or a helping verb like shall or can or whatever, the answer should be the same, using the same auxiliary. Look here, question number 1, what time is it? Here the question in the present simple, right? So the answer should be the same. He gave me the answer, it was 10:15. So was here wrong because he used past in the answer and should be is. It's 10:15. What about number 2? Do you like jazz? Okay, if I wanted to answer a short answer, I should say Yes, I do. Right. Okay, but he said here, yes, I like. This is not complete. I wanted to give a complete answer. I should say, yes, I like jazz. But if I wanted to answer short answer, yes, I do. What about number 3? When did you go to the sports center? Here the question in which tense? Yes, past simple. So the answer should be in the past. I go there 4 days ago. Go here is wrong. It should be went. Right. Number 4, have you got a new jacket? So if I wanted to answer short answer, I should use have as in the question. No, I haven't. Okay. Can she swim? Here the pronoun used in the question is singular, she. So the answer should use the same pronoun. Yes, she can, right. Okay, let's move to number 8. Think of a question using each of these words. Then ask and answer with the partner. As we agreed before that we have WH words or a helping verb to ask a question. He's giving you many and you can do it by yourself by giving or asking questions. Likewise, when did we have our last math lesson? He answered, we had it yesterday at 2 o'clock. Here the most important part, remember, make sure that your voice rises at the end of yes or no question and falls at the end of the W and H question. Okay. Okay, here we have a remember box. Here we have grammar notes. When can we use because and when can we use although? He's telling me we use because to give a reason for something. For example, his ship sank because there was a terrible storm. So if I'm asking you why did his ship sink, you will tell me because there was a terrible storm. You will give me the reason. Okay, let's move to although. We use although to contrast information. If we have a contradiction in the meaning, we will use although. Although I'm very hungry, I don't want to eat another dead fish. It's suppose if I'm hungry, I will eat anything in front of me. So he's telling me here, no, I don't want to eat anymore. Okay, for example, although I was very tired, I couldn't sleep. What else? Although I studied hard for the exam, I couldn't answer the whole questions. Okay, let's practice together. Exercise number 4. Ask the questions in pairs. Answer using the expressions in the box below and give a reason using although or because. So we will use the 3 expressions in front of you. It was okay, it was great or fantastic, and it was terrible. And we will add more to the sentence using although or because. The first question, how was your weekend? Here she's smiling, so we will use the good expression. It was great or fantastic. Why? Because I traveled to the countryside and met my grandparents. Let's move to the next girl. How was your last math lesson? She's very sad, so we will use it was terrible. It was terrible. Why? Because I couldn't answer the whole questions. Or, although the math lesson was easy, I couldn't answer the whole question. Although the math lesson was terrible, I could answer few questions. Okay, let's move to the third girl. How was your birthday? We will use it was okay. Okay means here it wasn't bad. Why? Because I didn't receive many presents.
Okay, let's complete our discussion about because. When can I use it? It's used when you are giving the reason for something. Like what? If I'm asking, why can't I go? I wanted to know the reason. Why can't I go? The answer will start by because, followed by the reason, because you aren't old enough. because you are so young to go there. Although, what does it mean and when can I use it? It's telling me although is a conjunction that is often used to show a contrast. What does it mean, the word conjunction? This is a word used to connect sentences. So, although will be used to connect sentences or different ideas together. Let's see. Here we have two sentences, 1 and 2. In sentence number 1, I used although at the very beginning, as you see, and I didn't use any commas after it immediately. Can you see? So, what will come into your mind when you read the first phrase? Although Tammy was tired, the first idea that she will sleep or take rest, but she was clever and she continued her study. So this is a contrast in ideas, but although connected them together. What else? Let's move to number 2. I love pizza, although it gives me heartburn. Here, look at the position of although. This is at the middle of the sentence, and I used a comma before it. Also, although here connected the two different ideas. Here, the meaning, although eating pizza makes me feel some stomach pain, I love it. And although gives me such meaning.
Okay, this is reading and speaking. Okay, read Dahlia's diary and the writing tips. Tips here means instructions. And what was her opinions of the terrible day and why? In front of you, you have a text which considered a good example of how to write a diary. This is for you to do the same. And how to describe past events. And how to write about your feelings about such events. So this is a good example to follow and do the same. Before starting together, you have to scan the text in front of you by your eyes. Read it quickly in order to answer the question at the top, what was her opinion of the terrible day and why? Then we will read it together and answer the whole questions. I'll give you just 2 seconds. Okay, let's do it together. As you can see, we have one of the days in Dahlia's diary. It's Sunday, 13th of August. Before starting it, move to the right hand. We have writing tips. We have some writing instructions that will help you a lot. When can we use the exclamation mark? It's telling you, number 1, you can end a sentence with an exclamation mark, as you can see it between the 2 brackets, to show strong emotion. Okay, number 2, use an exclamation mark after an interesting and or surprising information. For sure, I'll not use it to talk about normal or ordinary thing. No, something surprising or strange. Number 3, a capital letter follows both a full stop and exclamation mark. So after the exclamation mark and after the full stop, I write capital letters. Okay, return back to the diary. Sunday, 13th of August. Today was a terrible day. My baby brother woke me up at 5 a.m. Exclamation mark. I'm so tired now. I went to the kitchen for breakfast, but we had no milk or bread. So Mom asked me to go to the shop, but it was closed because it was only 6:30 a.m. exclamation mark. Then I tried to do my math homework, but I lost all my work because my laptop stopped working. Although we planned to have a barbecue in the afternoon, it was very windy. We couldn't have it. Exclamation mark. I hope tomorrow is a better day. An exclamation mark. And as you can see, we have a picture at the end, show the weather. Okay, return back to the first paragraph. As we can see here, an arrow to the green part. and he pointed to the verb in the past simple. He told us that in our diaries we use the past simple tense most of the time because we are talking about past events. Move to the second one. We have an arrow pointed to I because in your diary you are talking about yourself or you and a group. So you will use whether I to talk about yourself or we, you and others. Move to the third part. We have the purple arrow. Here he's telling you about the sequence words. You are talking about many events, so you wanted to put the events in order. So we can use first, then next, then use then, and after that, and finally. And if you wanted to use many other words like at the very beginning, at the middle, and at the end, all of these words can show the order of the events. Okay, let's move to the dark green. We hope. He pointed to it and tell us, talk about your feelings, your hopes, thoughts, and opinions. At the end, the last paragraph, actually even in our comprehension, we used to talk about our feelings. And he told you at the end, include a picture and doodles to show or to make it more clear. Okay, let's move to the speaking part, the question, sorry. I think that it's more clear now. We can answer, what was her opinion of the terrible day and why? I wrote it on the right hand. She thought it was a terrible day. Why? Because her baby brother woke her up early. And what else? There was no milk or bread for breakfast. And what's wrong? The shop was closed. What else? Her laptop stopped working and they couldn't have barbecue. So I think it was not, if we can explain it by a word more than terrible, it should be. Okay, let's move to the speaking part. Read the diary again and answer the questions. The question number 1, why are diary entries usually in the past tense? We answered it before. Because you write a diary about things that happened in the past, past events. Okay, number 2, why do we usually use the first person? This is because you write about things that happened to you. So you will write about yourself or a group including you, so use I or we. Then, which words can we use to show the order of the words that happen? Here we use the then, and I told you we have many other words like first, next, after that, finally, at the end, and so on. And we have here the last question. Think of other verbs can we use to show feelings, hopes, thoughts, and opinions. Okay, he said here, I hope. We can use feel, think, believe, and so on. Okay, finally, we reached to the review. We will have a kind of revision on the whole items we tackled throughout the unit. Exercise number 1, look and say the type of music. Which do you like? Here we will have 4 photos for different types of music. Try to remember the name of it with me. A, it will be, yes, classical music. Then we have jazz music, and this is for sure will be traditional one, and the last one will be opera. Okay, let's move to the next exercise. Exercise number 2, ask and answer the questions about these places in pairs. Actually, we tackled all of these places in the first lesson of our unit. We have aquarium, beach, bowling alley, football stadium, fun fair, museum, planetarium, restaurant, shopping center, sports center. Here he will ask you 2 types of questions, about the time and about the action. and you will give me a sentence giving me the answer of these two questions. Number one, when did you last go to each place? When did you last go to the beach? When did you last go to the sports center? So you will give me the time. And what did you see there? And what did you do there? You will tell me I saw so and so, or I did so and so. Like what? Here he's giving me an example. I last went to the aquarium a year ago. This is the time, and I saw a lot of fish. Okay. Exercise number 3. Reorder the words to make questions. Then ask and answer the questions in pairs. The first part, we will form a question together by reordering the words, and you will answer the second part. Number 1, your how weekend was. The question will be, how was your weekend? Number 2, you listened to music yesterday. So the question will be, did you listen to music yesterday? Number 3, whiteboard is a classroom. There you are in. So it will be, is there a whiteboard in your classroom? Number 4, play musical instrument. You can. So it will be, can you play a musical instrument? Number 5, breakfast. What have for did you morning and this? The question will be, what did you have for breakfast this morning? So we can practice using the question, and you will practice the answer orally to improve your language. Like what? The first girl, how was your weekend? The next one, answer, it was great, and she is giving me the reason using because we went to the park. You can do the same with the rest of the questions. Thank you for all of you.